everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my good friend Caroline Chang. Hi,
Caroline. Thank you, Kathy, for having me. I always love spending time with you.
Ditto. Yeah. So, Caroline, what we get to talk about lots of things today, and I want everyone to know, if you don't know Caroline, she has been producing and hosting Awake to Oneness Radio for over 8 years. She was inspired to create her podcast 6 months after her son Kyle transitioned to spirit. She's the founder of the Kyle Foundation, Keep Your Light Expanding, and co-founder of Universal Oneness Alliance, which I want to hear about that too. She's an inspirational speaker, author, inspirational mentor to many. I consider her a spiritual teacher, and she's also a journalist, among other things. Because she's so, her attitude and her connection to God, source, whatever you want to call it, is profound, and it's quite remarkable to watch and to want to model. So that's why, I love it, because Caroline does look for the good in everyone and everything, and makes it a point of amplifying that, not the other, right?
Yes, it's all about positive. It's all about energy.
Right.
It's all about staying, because we can, in every now moment, we can find something not nice to focus on. In every now moment, we can find a blessing in every now moment.
Yep.
So I choose to focus on the blessings in every now moment.
Yes. And your light does illuminate others too. It's not just that you're doing it as you're going through life. You're uplifting others in your path. So why don't we talk how you got started with the Awake to Oneness radio show and all of that, if you could share, because I'd love for people to know that you put out beautiful things, beautiful videos. My goodness. So
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Well, I launched my podcast, and I didn't even know the word podcast when I launched it. To me, it was just an internet radio show. And Spirit, my higher self, guided me in the middle of the night, said, get up and just do it. And the just do it was to start to launch an internet radio show. And at that time, when I first launched it in March of 2015, it was live audio, because I was using Blog Talk Radio. And so actually it was having live phone conversations with my guests. And then when I discovered Zoom, about a year and a half later, I discovered Zoom, and I said, oh, I can do my shows pre-recorded in Zoom. And so ever since then, I started doing them pre-recorded in Zoom. I like I said, I was inspired 6 months after my son transitioned to spirit. I knew that I was here for a reason. I knew that it was a soul plan. When the moment my son transitioned, I knew it was a soul plan. And you can actually understand more about that because there's a backstory. And I actually wrote a chapter in this book. It's called We Touched Heaven. And I have a chapter in this book called My Miracle on 34th Street. So the miracle I went through with my son before his transition, that was actually 3 years before he actually transitioned. That gave me peace. When he did transition, I was at complete peace. Because people will say, especially parents, will say, how could you? But if you read that backstory, you will understand. I don't want to go. Matter of fact, because it's so long, I don't want to go into details. I just invite you to check out the book, We Touched Heaven, on Amazon, and read my chapter. And please write to me. Tell me your thoughts. But I went through a whole 3-year experience with my son's illness, and then he transitioned. And 6 months after his transition, it's like Spirit pushed me out the bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and said, just do it. Because I've been thinking about it. You know how we think about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And we never really actually get around to doing it. And Spirit gave me that push, just do it. And I did. And I've been very, very happy. And my daughter actually transitioned 6 months ago. Yeah. And I was also at complete peace when she transitioned. What I know, I love the theme for this year's IANS conference because it is loving inspired action. And I know that with both my children's transitioning to Spirit, they're not gone. See, I know this. This is why I'm at peace. This is why I am happy, because I know it was a soul plan between the two of us, the three of us. Matter of fact, it was a soul plan before my birth. Our children pick us to be their parents in spirit. And we agree, because everything is a soul agreement. So I agreed to be their mom. And they told me before I was even born, they said, but we're not going to hang around down there on earth as long as you. You have a mission to do. Okay. And so I know that they're both with me all the time. And I know that I know what my soul purpose is. Part of that purpose is to mentor parents that have children in spirit, because that is one of the hardest things that that is, as far as a parent, that is the hardest thing that a parent can go through. And I've had other counselors and mentors tell me that they can't really get anywhere with parents because they're not in the same shoes. And I even had a parent tell me that she wouldn't even be listening to me if I wasn't in the same shoes she was in. Mm-hmm. So I know that part of my soul purpose is to mentor parents that have children in spirit. And that's what I've been doing the past 8 years. And when my daughter transitioned, it was like, okay, I got to do it even more, because I've got to let people know our children, none of our loved ones are gone. They're not. And it was always a soul agreement, especially with a child and a parent. It was a soul agreement. And that parent, even though, of course, in the physical, they don't remember agreeing to that, because I know they will say, who would ever agree to that from the physical? But when we understand that life is eternal and that our children and our loved ones, our parents, our aunts, our uncles, all of our loved ones, our friends, they're all still with us. And they want us to know that. They really do. They want us to think of them and think of the good times and laugh and even have conversations with them, because they can hear you. And I hear my children in my heart and soul. I talk to them all day long. You would think that lady's crazy. Who's she talking to? I talk to my kids all day long, and I hear their responses in my heart.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. That's so cool. So you started this radio station and you called it Awake to Oneness. Would you share, I've heard this before, but would you share your the reason you awoke, or how you awoke to oneness?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I had a spontaneous spiritual awakening in 2007. Long before my son got sick, which is a blessing. That awakening came from science. I actually had that awakening when I was watching a documentary film called What the Bleep Do We Know? It's all about quantum physics. And a lot of scientists were in that film. It's a great film. I highly recommend it. But there was one sentence in that film that inspired my awakening, and that wasn't said by a scientist. It was said by a journalist. Her name is, and a writer. Her name is Lynn McTaggart. I've had the honor of having her as a guest on my show. But that one sentence was, the biggest problems in the world today is because of the illusion of separation, because we think we're separate. That causes, and when she said that, something woke up inside of me. It's like I can really hardly put it into words. It was not a mental knowing. It was a heart and soul knowing that one simple statement was so true. If humanity would wake up to the fact that we are not separate, that we are all one, we're all one family, we're all one with each other, we're all one with every tree, with every blade of grass, with every insect. It is all one, and it's all God. It's all God experiencing everything through us. And when we wake up to that, so imagine if everybody woke up tomorrow morning knowing that everybody on the planet was connected to them, heart, mind, and soul connection, and that everybody was family, that we would wake up just loving and helping each other. So that simple knowing, the simple knowing of the universal truth of oneness will change the world, will solve all of our problems. And not only, okay, now science is teaching the universal truth of oneness. And that's just been over the past 120 years or so, quantum physics. That started over 100 years ago. So everybody should know it. But not only science just is new to the truth of oneness. Before science, there's ancient wisdom and spirituality. Ancient wisdom and spirituality has been teaching the truth of universal oneness for eons, forever. And now science is just catching up. So science, spirituality, and ancient wisdom all teaches us the universal truth of oneness. That the thing about oneness is it's undeniable. It is so evident that everything is connected. We are all connected. With life is connection. And when we understand that, you live your life differently. So I woke up to that truth in 2007, long before my son got ill. My son got ill in 2011, but it was a blessing that I had this awakening before I ever lost my children. So
Right.
that was a great blessing. Yes.
Yes. So, and that's where we connected. We both had been affiliated with Humanities Team and the oneness aspect. And you can really tell the difference with the people that use oneness as part of their value structures, as part of their paradigm for living, their belief system. You can really tell the difference because they are looking for, number one, what's the gift in everything? It seems
you're there.
Perspective, right?
Had wonky internet.
Oh
no. That's okay. No, but I understand exactly what you're saying, because that's exactly how I felt when I went to my first IONS conference. These near-death experiencers, they've experienced the oneness. Many of them can't even put it into words, because it really is beyond words. It's above words when you feel that. But the first thing many near-death experiencers express is feeling one with everything. And so when I went to my first IONS conference in 2019 in Philadelphia, I was happy. I just discovered IONS and I was invited to come to the conference. The president was Diane. I'm horrible with last names, but I had Diane and Lilia as guests on my shows just before the conference to help promote the conference. They invited me to come to the conference. Luckily, it was only 2-hour drive away. So I didn't, I was like, sure, I'll be there. And once I went to an IONS conference, I was like, yes, I'm home. I am home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's the way I'm a volunteer for IONS, and this is my 6th year of doing work for them.
Wow.
And that's exactly the way I felt. I haven't had a near-death experience, but I had spiritually transformative experiences, and I continue to have them, apparently.
Yes.
And what happens is you walk into a space that has 400 to 500 people in it, and you feel the recognition of people bringing that frequency into this realm. Right. And again, like you said, sometimes you don't have words for the mystical experiences. And by listening to all these other people articulate their their journey
Yes.
to understanding and using the experience. That's the thing. It's disorienting when you get a different perspective of life and then come back into your regular being. It's like going to a seminar and you get all sorts of ideas and you come back and go, oh, now what do I do with it? It's almost like that.
Yes.
And what happens is by being in group and hearing other people's stories, the feeling, it's a palpable heart space.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, very true. It's all about living from the heart. See,
Yes.
so many of us humans want to live from the head. And I always speak about heart math, which talks about how the heart, we don't think about the heart having intelligence, but heart math has scientifically proven that your heart is 10,000 times more intelligent than the brain. Now, the best thing is to have the heart in the brain coherence, where you're living your heart from living your life from your heart and using your brain as a tool, because it is a good tool. Not saying take the brain and throw it away, but don't let it drive most humans let the brain drive their life, when you should have your heart drive your life and let the brain follow the heart. And when you have that heart and mind coherence, is what they call it, it is the best. It's the optimum way of living, where you're living from your heart and you're allowing your brain to do its job as the passenger, and not the driver.
Perfect.
Yes.
So what I find also that I'm just amazed at by being around people telling their stories of their experiences with the divine. The first thing was that there's no judgment, which where our whole experience here has been good girl, bad girl. All of that. So that was like, cool. You mean
Yes.
I'm doing it to myself? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's number one. And then number two, a lot of people get their superpowers after they've had a clandestine experience. It's what all you can call it, is like,
Right.
wow, how did that happen?
Yes.
Because most of them are very strange. There's a gentleman, Vinnie Tolman, that I've interviewed before, that he was in a zippered bag.
I heard his story. I got him to do an irons video. So I was the connection for that. I've never spoken to him and never did a show with him, but I have heard his story, and it is one of the most amazing interviews I've ever heard.
Yes. So but a lot of people, after they've had these experiences, I was looking around for his book because it's right here.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere.
I gotta get his book.
It's really good. It's really
okay.
good. So anyway, but what happens is most of the people that I've interviewed, they have a they're brave beyond what normal humans are. Not only do they maybe have a new superpower that's activated afterwards. So in my case, a lot of healers come to me that have had it, and then they've got a modality that they didn't even know they had. But they also are brave. They're out there doing stuff. They don't have the same fear that the general population has of being seen, because they're not in that judgment. And have you seen that too?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me myself, since my full awakening, I don't care what people think. I'm living my life and my soul purpose. And it's not about what the outer world thinks of me anymore. And I know, especially when we were younger, we want to be accepted by everybody. We wanted to be accepted by society. Matter of fact, growing up as a young child, I always was wondering what was wrong with me. I never felt like I fit in. I never felt loved. I felt like everybody was always just picking on me. I felt like the world was picking on me. And I'm like, why? And I kept me as a little kid and youngster and even in my young teenagers and 20s, I wanted to be accepted. I would do stuff just to I was a people pleaser. I would do stuff just to please people. And you know what? That never works. When you try to do stuff not from your heart, but just to please others, that never works. That never, because they never appreciate it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, so when you truly awaken to the truth of oneness and the truth, spirituality of who we are, you start living from your heart. And when you start living from your own heart, you are happy because you're not going around trying to please others. You're going around trying to help others. You're living in service to others, but not everybody's going to see you. Not everybody's going to see your light. And don't worry about those that don't see your light. You are there for those who are, that can and want to see your light.
Perfect.
So you start living from your own heart. Yes.
That's perfect. And even when you do your show and you do your beautiful videos, I know just that if only one person was inspired, that's enough. It's the right person, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Caroline, let me ask one more question about that's kind of on this heart path. Is about trust, because you have an inordinate trust. Seriously, I mean, when your daughter died, so many of us were sitting behind going, oh no, I don't even know what to say now, because of I can't even imagine losing one child, but then losing the second one. I mean, the strength and the clarity of thought that you've had during this time is remarkable. Could you help the audience understand how you trust so much? And it's not just that you're in touch with them, because your son definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm still more in touch with him than my daughter, and you know what? That's how it was in life. My son was always closer to my daughter. I mean, when you have daughters, as soon as my daughter hit 13, it's like, Ma, you know nothing. Ma, leave me alone. I know everything. I'm 13 and I know everything. I don't need you anymore. That's how it was.
Yeah.
And my son, who's the youngest, was always, oh, Ma, I'll protect you. Ma, I'll take care of you. That's how it was in life. So that's how it is in spirit.
Right.
My son is always around me. My daughter, I'll call to her and she'll come and she's like, what do you want, Ma? I'm busy up here in heaven.
It's like, yeah, it's like, give me a few minutes, I'll get back to you. Actually, the reason why I'm asking about trust is that I'm hearing from my clients and from other people, we're in rocky roads right now. I mean, we're the post time period, lockdown period, and we're creating a new, and a lot of the inequity to man is being illuminated so that we can see it and not choose it anymore. We've got a big job to do. We're in a turning point, turning this truck around. And trust is really the key component that would help us trust ourselves to make positive decisions, trust our connection to source, that everything is for us. So could you talk a little bit about what you do to trust?
Okay. Well, for me, it's more than a trust. It's a knowing. Okay. Just like, we know for our physical bodies to stay alive, we have to breathe in oxygen.
Right.
Okay. If we deprive ourselves of oxygen, that physical body is going to pass away. Right. Mm-hmm. That's a knowing. You don't have to trust that you need oxygen, do you?
No.
Okay. So that's what I mean. Think of it like that. It's a knowing. I know that life is so much more than what we perceive with our 5 human senses. And in truth, I everything I'm grounded in is science. Science has proven that with our 5 senses, we can only detect 0.0 5% of what is actually around us. I'll say that again. With our physical senses, our eyes, our sight, our mouths, all 5 senses, you know what I'm talking about. The human body can only detect 0.035% of what actually is around us. So if we say, I only believe in what I see, that means you're discounting 99.96% of what is actually around you. And this has been proven scientifically. Okay, for those who are not into what they call woo-woo, I tell people all the time, study quantum physics, because quantum physics is teaching us exactly what spirituality has been teaching us for eons. And they can't say, well, quantum physics is a theory. They can't say that. You know why? Everything that we use in this world today, technology, is based on the core principle of quantum physics. The core principle of quantum physics is oneness. This computer, the smart grid, everything is from the core principle of quantum physics, which is universal oneness. It is that simple. I had a scientist on my show once, and he said, if people don't believe in the universal truth of oneness, they should not be able to own a cell phone, because that cell phone would not be working without the core connection of the universe. You get me?
Yeah.
So I say it's not trust. For me, it's a knowing. And there's a big difference between a belief that comes here and a knowing. A belief, well, I hope it's so, I believe it's so. That's all here. That's all mental. A knowing that it is so comes from the heart and soul. And when you know that it is so, there's no trust involved. You know that you know that you know.
Okay, so how do you get to trust from that knowing? Because that's where we are right now, is that everything, they call it an inverted matrix. Right. Everything that's happening right now, you can't tell. There's a little bit of truth in it and the rest is all garbage. And you're trying to sort through with your gut. I mean, it's really here, and your gut.
Right.
Using all 3 hearts or brains.
Right.
And you're trying to sort through of that feels right, that doesn't feel right. And then knowing that you're being supported. I think that's the trust I was talking about, is the support, knowing that that you have angels or guides, or you have a team, a whole team is supporting you. Yeah, that's what I think I was talking about. Because
I get what you're saying. Yeah. And to answer your question, you actually said it. You said the word feel. Feeling comes from one place. Feeling comes from the heart. Our feelings and our emotions, that is our conversation with our higher self. Now, when we feel bad, that is our higher self saying, what you're thinking is not right. When we feel elated and good, that's what your higher self saying, yeah, you're on track. Yeah. So it's a feel, it's more, see, we like to use the brain. We like to put the mind before the heart. But when we just take a few deep breaths, go out into nature, go to a quiet place, sit, breathe, ask your guides, ask the universe a question, and just breathe in. Don't quiet the monkey mind and listen to what comes. That is, so in every now moment, we can be guided by that knowing within our heart, or we can overthink it and many times our mind will tell our heart, because that's our ego. It's our ego mind, and it's not a bad thing. Ego mind gets a bad has a bad reputation, but we need our ego. As while we're in physical form, we need our mind and we need our ego. Our ego mind is to keep us physically safe, which is a good thing. But when we just allow it to run our life, that means we're allowing only 0.035% to run our life, not 99.6%. Right. The heart is the 99.6%. So when you allow, so that to me, yes, we are living in the most amazing time in the world, in history. We are living through humanity's great awakening. And what I call it is a crossroads. We are sovereign beings of light. And that means we decide with our vibration what we want to focus on. If we want to basically live from, there's only two places we can live from. We can live from fear, or we can live from love. In every now moment, we can choose fear, or we can choose love. And if those that choose love are on a certain path to the new earth, the 5D new earth, which that whole world will be everybody knowing and living in oneness. There will be no war. There will be no poverty. There will be no hunger. There will be no crime. None of that. We will be living as one family in love on 5D new earth. And that earth is happening. And right now, people are making the decision of what road they want to go. What do they want to go to 5? All they have to do is live in love. Live in every now moment. What will love do? And every now moment, ask yourself, what would love do in this situation? If you live from love, you have no problem. You're going to be there. And now if you are living in fear, which I know that the news, which I stopped watching over 22 years ago, the news can put you in a state of fear. That's deliberate. They're trying to put you in a state of fear. Now, if you live from the nightly news in a state of fear, you're on a different path. And there's no judgment. Again, remember what we talked about, the oneness. With oneness, there is never a judgment. That soul might feel it needs more 3D experience and is not ready to go to 5D. That's a soul's choice. So the souls that are ready to go to 5D are going to 5D right now. There's souls that have decided, I'm in a state of fear. I want to stay. I think it's a soul choice, not even a conscious human choice. The soul says this soul needs more 3D experience. And both worlds are happening. Actually, it's more than, we talk about 2 timelines. There's infinite numbers of timelines. We each create the timeline we are going to experience from our personal core vibration in every now moment. So, and I from what I hear from channel messages, because that's my news. I get up every morning and listen to inspirational channel messages. And many channels have said, we are ahead of schedule. Many channels have said that we are ahead of schedule. We're like a year ahead of schedule. Yep. Humanity is doing so well. We are a year ahead of schedule. So I am on top of the world. And I got that message from my higher self, March 2020. My higher self said, humanity's great awakening has begun. And I started partying. And I have been. I've been on top of the world the last 3 years. Yep. And it's because I know, and it's not that I have deep compassion for everybody on the planet and deep compassion. And what I do is I send everybody love and light always to help raise their frequency. But you can't help somebody by going down to their frequency and trying to raise them up. What you have to do is stay at a high frequency and invite them to come up to your frequency. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, in fact, that was part of what I love about you, is that in most cases that I've watched you do that, where there was a discussion, well, even on your radio show and on your YouTube channel, I've watched you tackle conversations that are not easy, but turn them into a lesson, a light lesson, or a love lesson, and to see the benefit for all rather than the judgmental side of it.
Yes. Well, one of my series, I've only done a few episodes in that series, is called Can we please have a conversation? Truth and freedom. Can we please have a conversation? Meaning, it's not about agreeing. I talk about this all the time. It's unity within diversity. Meaning, there are 8 billion people on the planet. All 8 billion people are unique divine aspects of God, each one of them. And they each have a unique perspective on life. You do not expect, you don't want everybody, not everybody's going to agree. It's not about agreeing. It's about loving. I can have a conversation with someone I do not agree with at all, but I can have a loving, peaceful conversation, 2-3 hours. I've done it many times. And at the end of that conversation, we're hugging because I didn't change their mind. They didn't change my mind. They still believe what they believe. I still believe what I believe. But I love them because I know who they are as a soul, as a sovereign divine being of light. And they respect, and we're not arguing. Because, see, arguing to me is just trying to force someone to agree with you. That's all the argument is. Yeah. You don't have to force someone to agree with you. You can love them for who they are, and they can love you for who you are.
Yes. Well, that's active listening too. Yes. I mean, yes. That's the way that you really learn and grow, because everything is a gift if you look at it that way. And so there's some gem that you might get by listening, not just to answer, to be present in your listening, right?
So true. And so few people do that. I sit back and observe that all the time. I'll be in a meeting with like 10 different people, and I'm listening carefully to everyone. And but I'm noticing, okay, you didn't hear what he just said. I'm not saying it. I'm just noticing this person did not listen to that person, because that's not what he said, I'm keeping that all in. I'm just sitting back and being the observer. When are these people going to learn to listen to each other?
Well, that is a skill. It is a skill.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yeah. So we've mentioned about ions. Could we talk a little bit? I know you're going to be a speaker again this year, but I wanted, before we go and show the site and everything, I wanted to talk about you being in a feature film with Sonia Rinaldi. Could you share a little bit about that? Because that is remarkable. That is really so cool.
Sure. Well, Sonia is a good friend of mine. I met her through another friend of mine, and she's been a guest on my show a couple of times. But Sonia has been doing amazing work in Brazil. She's a Brazilian researcher. She's not a scientist. She's a researcher. She's a Brazilian researcher, and she has been doing research on connecting electronically with the other side for over 30 years. I think 31, 32 years now. But she first started with kind of like radio wave frequency, and she could hear, she has all these audio recordings, and you can hear the loved ones on the other side speaking. And she started this, like I said, 30 years ago. She's been doing this. She's such a angel on this earth. She doesn't charge any money, especially to parents. She really is helpful, helping parents heal and helping parents that have children in spirit. So many. Matter of fact, a couple that I was mentoring that's in the UK, their son transitioned just before his 14th birthday. And they found me. They found the Wake to Oneness Radio. They contacted me. I started mentoring them. They knew that I had a connection with Sonia, and they asked me, "Could you get us in touch with Sonia?" And now at first I because I know, when you know that somebody's really busy, you don't, but the spirit told me yes, and I know Sonia. Sonia's like yes, so I connected them. Sonia started trying to connect with their son. He came through. His name is Wesley. He came through right away. But here's the wonderful thing. He came through with a dog, okay? He didn't have a dog. They don't have a dog, okay? Guess who Wesley came through with?
Your dog.
He came through with my dog. Where's Coco? Coco. Right here. He came through with Coco. And when the pictures came through and Sonia was talking to the parents, and Sonia's like, who's that dog? I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I didn't see it. She had sent the images to the parents and to me, but you know how I'm busy. I didn't get to them for a couple of days. And when I looked, I'm like, that's my Coco. And the thing is, Coco came through because Coco has come through with Kyle as well. But Coco came through with Wesley to prove to his father, because his father is very skeptical, to prove to his father it's him. Look, you contacted Caroline to get in contact with Sonia, and now I'm coming through to Sonia, and Coco is showing with Coco to show you that this is really me, because you didn't. So it was amazing. It was amazing. But yes, I was in the film Rinaldi, which everybody's got to check to see. It was done by We Don't Die Radio. So the best way to see that film is to go to We Don't Die Radio website. But also Sonia is speaking in, it's a country in Europe. I can't remember, but she's speaking in either August, I think August, and she asked me to do another video that they're going to do this whole video montage of people giving testimony to her work. And so I'm also going to be in that video that she presents at that conference. Cool. I think it might be in end of August. I forget. It's in Europe. It's not in America. But we Ions, thank you for reminding me, because I have to have Ions invite Sonia to America for one of our conferences. Maybe next year in Arizona, because I just found out we're going to be in I don't tell me, not Phoenix. Not Tucson, not Phoenix.
Sedona?
No, it's near Sedona. It's oh goodness.
Flagstaff.
No, why can't I think of the name of the town? Because I've been there for 3 conferences already. This is going to be my 4th conference there. Okay. But it's near Phoenix. It's near Phoenix. Okay. That's where we're going to be next year. And so I'm hoping, I'm going to work on Ions to invite Sonia for next year.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, just so everyone understands, there are lots of people that have worked on devices, so that people can be, especially parents that have lost a child. There's unfinished business in a lot of ways. And there's a device called the Soul Phone. That people are talking about that I haven't experienced. And then Rinaldi has a system where she first can come up with images. Now she has pictures and then now a 3D way of creating pictures. But she also has audio now.
Yes. I know I've been so busy the last few years, I haven't even kept up with Sonia's work, but I know that she's doing amazing things. And I'm familiar with the Soul Phone project as well. I've had Mark and, oh goodness, the other guy is Mark, and the other guy, there's 2 of them for the Soul Phone. I've had them both as guests on my show. And yes, I'm very familiar with the Soul Phone project. Well.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with it, but I want people to know that there is, again, so much proof. This isn't just going to a medium and hoping that you get the information, although mediums are amazing. And we could talk about Suzanne too. Do you want to?
Well, I was just about to say that my first introduction, I had never heard of electronic voice phenomenon, never heard of it. And EVP, I never heard of it. And I had Suzanne Giesman as a guest, and she gifted me a reading on my son's birthday. This is 2 years after he transitioned. And she was actually told by Sanaya, her spirit team that she channels, she was told she was doing this reading before she knew who she was doing the reading for. So as soon as she got my email, she responded right back, we're doing a reading on his birthday. And I was like, Suzanne, but that's Thanksgiving Day. My son is November 24th, and his birthday every 5 to 6 years falls on Thanksgiving days. That year it was on Thanksgiving. I said, Suzanne, I can't take you away from your family on Thanksgiving. And she's like, I was instructed, I have to do this. Now, the amazing thing that happened in that reading, My son, and you can, I'll have Kathy, we've got to share them because it's on YouTube. You can hear my son's voice from, we were not trying to do an EVP reading because people do try to do EVP readings. I had never heard of EVP, and it had never happened to Suzanne. When it happened, when it first happened, she was telling my son, cut it out. I got you. And she said, these were her exact words. She said, cut it out. I got you. Unless you want to give us some EVP. All right. She said, electronic voice phenomena. And when she said that, that went right over my head. I had no idea what she was talking about, but that's exactly what he was trying to do. And he came through that whole entire reading, and we can actually hear his voice. You hear this like, what kind of, I'm trying to think of the sound. It's like a swooshing. Yes. Like a swooshing sound all throughout. And you hear Coco's bark. That's why I say Coco's. You clearly hear Coco's bark. And you hear in one spot, you can hear Kyle saying, doing it in his own voice.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing when you see these things and you experience that it's really a way to reassure the person that's still in physical that there is the connection and that they're okay. They're okay. And Suzanne is so generous. She helps so many people. In last year's conference, she helped someone else that I was with, and she just and she said, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah. That's what I was kind of feeling when this couple in the UK contacted me to get in touch with Sonia. I was feeling, well, but then my first thought was, should I? And then my higher self said, yes, do it. And it was like, so with no hesitation, I connected them. And
Isn't that wonderful?
It was perfect.
It's so wonderful.
Yes.
Well, so
also, I didn't mention that Kyle has come through so many times to Sonia. And here's my favorite time that Kyle came through. I was going on a Zoom meeting with Sonia. And Sonia, because she's always trying to capture images from spirit, she had a Miss machine going behind her. And so just before I got on a Zoom meeting with Sonia, she took that video and she goes from frame to frame, from frame to frame. There's actually a frame of Kyle's image in the mist behind her just before she gets on Zoom with me. That's my favorite. I mean, there's at least 10, 20 images of Kyle coming to Sonia, but my favorite is of him in the mist behind her head.
Oh, wow. So that's the other thing, is that the intent of keeping the connection is a big part of all of this too. That they want to come through and show you the love and show you that you're not alone, so that you can heal. So it's quite amazing. And Kyle has been. I mean, I'm surprised how many ways he comes through very strong. The fact that your dog comes through strong, that means your connection, your openness to it is helping fortify that energy. It's really amazing, amazing, amazing.
And what our loved ones want, they don't want us to be sad. They know that they're missed. They do. But they want us to be joyful and think of them, think of the good times we've had with them. Talk to them, because you can still have conversations with your loved ones now. Talk to them, let you know you missed them, but your vibration is all about frequency. You want to raise that vibration. Know that, okay, I can't see you right now. I'll see you soon. Okay, see you in a little while. Did I lose Kathy, or did Kathy lose me?
No,
Kathy, you back? Are you back?
I'm still here, and we didn't miss anything. So that is a big part of what we're hoping, is that to heal the fear of death in all ways that we can, and to help people through these times, because there are as we can see, there's so many people on the earth. I mean, we've had this population explosion because everyone wanted to be here during these big times of change. We're going from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance, and but not everyone's going to stay here, and there's this whole attachment to the physical that is needs to be healed, I guess. I don't know if that's the right words to say, or
yeah, I think I hear what you're saying, and it's here's the truth. I've never had a fear of death. Never. It was like a knowing that this is not all there is. So I think that the only reason that people fear death is they're afraid of the unknown. That's all. But to know that God is love.
Yes.
It is all, and God is unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness. It's just all about understanding that we can never be separated from God. We are aspects of God, holographic. Right. So when people understand the holograph, which my favorite quote is, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." Each one of us is all of God in a drop. And when you know that, you can live in peace and just like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm going to do what I came here to do. And then go back to spirit. That's all it is. Yeah.
And then go, whew, that was a ride.
Yeah. And then we say, yeah, when we get there, we're like, whew, that was a ride. I want to go again. It's like a roller coaster. It's just like a roller coaster ride. When you're on the road, I'm so scared. Oh, as soon as you get off, wow, that was fun. Let's do it again.
That's silly, isn't it?
You get right online. You get right in that roller coaster line to do it again. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, so Caroline, I love talking to you about your Wake to Oneness Radio. I love talking to you about the work that you've done to help people heal. As you're healing, you've been a great example of a path to follow that is it's totally in purpose for and in service to all. It's quite amazing. And you're also this year a speaker again at the IONS conference. So I wanted to bring that up. Last year, I got to introduce Caroline at the conference. As I said, I've been busy with them for my sixth or seventh year. I think sixth. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to show the site right now. I'm going to show the front page. Well, actually, I think I've got it on the speakers page. Okay. Yes. So would you mind talking about this a little bit?
Sure. Like I said, I discovered IONS when actually I was contacted by IONS in 2019, just before the conference in Philadelphia, and then invited to attend. And like I said, once I went to IONS conference, I was home. So that was started in 2019. Then 2020 and 2021, I did participate on panels. They were online conferences for 20 and 21. So I was on panels. Last year was the first in-person conference since 2019 in Salt Lake City. I was a featured speaker last year because of the theme. The theme was all about oneness. Mm-hmm. And when I was asked to be a featured speaker last year, I was told, Caroline, oneness, you get it. So, but this year I'm a speaker, not a featured speaker, but I'm going to be talking about the whole theme is inspired action. So I'm going to be talking about how I was inspired when my son transitioned 9 years ago. Can you believe it? It's been 9 years. 9 years ago, I was inspired by my son. And then I also was inspired 6 months ago when my daughter transitioned. So both of them, both transitions inspired me in different ways, but inspired me in following my soul purpose. So that's what I'm going to be talking about this year. Yeah, they don't have I'm going to be talking on Sunday, the last day, and they don't have my picture on that website yet. That's okay.
That's okay. I'm just showing some of the people and going as slow as I can, so people can maybe look at this. This is conference.ions.org. I'll put it in the comments, and hopefully people will go to conference.ions.org and really see what a beautiful job that the organization has done. Again, another year. The organization is 40 years old, 40 plus, and it's filled with researchers as well as experiencers.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, it's the IONS conference is filled with researchers as well as experiencers, and just like Caroline had said, once I discovered it, and I discovered it 6 years ago, I've been to every single thing I can. I'm a volunteer because I felt like it was home. I could really tell that these people that had came back with a knowing and a connection to who they really are, rather than the programs that we are falling into and here. And I wanted to be around my tribe. I wanted to be around.
Oh, that's important. That's what we're doing right now. We are gravitating to our soul tribe right now. It's not about, we love our blood family, and we always will. And we love those that are choosing a different path. I mean, those that are choosing a different path, we still love them and we send them love and light. But right now, this world, we are gathering in soul tribes. Yes, we are. Yes.
Right. And so, Caroline, one of the things I always try to end my show with is telling people how powerful they really are.
Yes.
So I'd love to ask you about your superpowers. What? But I do.
No. One thing I wanted to say when I was listening to you talk about the NDEers, near deathers, and coming back and sharing their experience, I said I'm so blessed because I did have a true spontaneous spiritual awakening in 2007, and it wasn't a near-death experience.
Right.
So people can have a spiritual awakening, and more. You don't have to nearly die to have a spiritual awakening. And I was truly blessed. I did not have a near-death experience, but I truly had an awakening. So that's a blessing. And like I said, and people, because some people will say, "Oh, I wish I had a near." No, you don't want to wish for a near-death experience. You want to wake up, and you can wake up through meditation, through all kinds of natural modalities can help you. But I would say meditation you can do in many different ways. You can do whatever meditation works best for you. But meditation is a great way of raising your frequency and waking up to the truth of who you are. But so it's just like, I really recognize everything happened in my life, and it's a blessing. And everything that happens in everybody's life is a blessing. We sometimes don't look at it as a blessing. Our greatest challenges in life, we plan from spirit. Before we were born, we planned, and I could see our spirit team and our spirit guide was right there. Are you sure you want to try that? You're like, yeah, I'll do that. You signed up for it. Every single challenge, you signed up for them. And the challenges are your blessings to help you awaken and remember your purpose for being here.
That is perfect. So we want you to get fired up and see the beauty all around you and act on that and be a contributor to the awakening of consciousness, the awakening and supporting each other in love and in charity also. So that this time period of change could run smoother and faster, and craft your own reality around it.
Be a creator, not a victim. And truly, you cannot be a creator and a victim in the same breath.
Perfect.
You're either a creator of your reality or a victim of your reality, but they're both your reality.
Right. Okay. So
Okay.
Caroline, we're out of time. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Just when you Google Awake with the number 2 Oneness Radio, you'll find me. Okay. Awake to Oneness Radio.
Yes. And I hope you will. I hope you'll look at the beautiful, beautiful contributions that Caroline has done that will make you feel inspired and motivated to live a higher purpose life.
Right. Well, let me just plug in my videos I've been creating. I've been creating inspirational videos. Remember, I said I don't watch news. Every morning, I listen to an inspirational channel message, and when I find one I like, I take that message and turn it into a beautiful video. So I have a playlist of beautiful inspirational messages you can wake up to every morning if you go to my YouTube channel.
Yes. And I recommend them. They're beautiful, and it's amazing how fast you can change state just like that. So anyway, well, thank you so much. And I'll see you soon in a month or so. I'll see you in person again.
Party.
So we'll be hugging. So, yeah. So thank you again, Caroline. I appreciate your work so much. And I hope everyone will take
you, Kathy. Thank you. And I appreciate all that you do. All that you do.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.